here from the Pony Podcast. Today we're going to go over bridle fitting. We've got a video on saddle fitting as well, so if you want to go back and have a look at that, then that will tell you how to fit your saddle. So you might need to fit a bridle if you've got a new horse, or if you've bought your horse a new bridle and you want to make sure that it fits your horse as well as you can. So before you try it on your horse, you want to just measure it up against their head, just to see if you've got to do any adjustments beforehand. So just hold it up like that, and you can see, yeah, it's definitely going to be high enough, and the bit should be low enough too. And then you want to take out all the keepers that you can, so all these buckles, and then it'll be easier to adjust when it's on the horse. So now we're going to try the bridle on, just to see what it looks like on her. You look really enthusiastic today. There we go. Right, so now it's on, we can have a look at all the bits to check. So you want to make sure that the headpiece isn't too far forwards and pushing on the ears, because the horses have got lots of nerves around the base of the ear, so it can pinch if this is pushing too much. And the same with the brow band. You don't want it too tight, you want to be able to fit your hand underneath it, because if that's tight, it's going to be pushing on the front of their head, and it will be pulling the headpiece into the back of their ears, so it won't be very comfortable for them. And then with the throat lash, when you do it up, you want to be able to fit your 4 fingers in there, so that's, my throat lash is a good size. And then with the cheek pieces, you want to make sure that they're lying flat down their face, and if you were going to have a pull on the bit, you don't want them to bulge too much. You want them to be nice and firm so that it holds the bit in the horse's mouth. And then when you come to look at the noseband, we've got a Cavesson noseband here, but we can look at bits of different nosebands in a minute. With the noseband, you want to make sure it just sits about a finger underneath the protruding cheekbone, because if it's any higher, the bottom of this can rub, and that's not very comfortable for them. And then when you do it up, with a Cavesson, you want to be leaving 2 fingers. So you don't want it very tight at all. There, 2 fingers. It's quite loose. And tuck all my keepers in. And with the noseband as well, you want to make sure you check that it's straight, not uneven pressure. And the same with the cheek pieces. You want to try and have them on the same hole, or even on both sides, because then that means the bit's going to be level in your horse's mouth. And then when it comes to fitting the bit, you want to just have a little crease at the side. You don't want it to be right up like they're smiling, or so low that they're sort of always mouthing for the bit. And then you should be able to just fit 1 finger either side of the bit. This is a fixed ring. If you've got a loose ring, it will stick out a little bit more so that the sides of the mouth doesn't get pinched as the ring moves. So we fitted the bridle and we've looked at a Cavesson noseband. So now we're going to look at a Flash noseband, and it's got 2 parts. So it's got the top Cavesson part here, and this is the flash strap at the bottom. And this is used if you've got a horse that opens its mouth. You can also use a drop noseband, which I prefer a little bit, but I haven't got one of those to show you, so I've got a Flash. With the Cavesson, when you fit it on its own, you've got the 2 fingers, but when you've got a Flash, you want it a little bit firmer, because otherwise the Flash can bring it down. So you want to have it tight so you can fit 1 finger in, and then do up the keepers. I hate keepers being left undone, it really annoys me. So I get them all nice and neat. And then with the Flash, it's underneath there, and then the same, you want to be able to fit 1 finger in, because then you're not doing it so tight that they can't breathe and it's mean, but also then they can't open their mouth. And I always try with buckles that are around their mouth, because their mouth's quite sensitive, I always try to do the buckles up here or down here, because I don't like the idea that it could pinch their lips. Another important point with Flash nosebands, as well as getting the tightness right, is where the front of it sits. So with horses, they've got their skull and then around their nose it's all cartilage, not bone. So it's really important that the middle of your noseband isn't too low down around here, because this bit's all cartilage, and that means that it's a bit softer, and if you do it too tight it can actually constrict their airways. Now we're going to look at a Grackle noseband. So a Grackle is used to stop a horse from crossing its jaw, and there are two types. This is an English Grackle because it's connected with leather, and you can get Mexican Grackles that have metal rings here where the leather attaches. So with a Grackle, similar to the Flash, you've got two straps that cross over, and one goes underneath the bit and one goes above the bit. But the difference is, oh, that's a very big sigh. But the difference is that the top strap does up a bit higher, so it sort of does up just underneath the protruding cheekbone, and it does up below their cheek, and that wants to be fairly firm because, like the cavesson part of the Flash, you don't want it slipping down. And then the bottom part does up under here, which again you want to be fairly firm, like the Flash, be able to fit a finger in so that you know it's not too tight. Now because they cross over at the front, it can put quite a lot of pressure on top of their nose. So same as with the Flash, you don't want it down here, you want to have it higher up. So I always think that you want to have the same amount of leather above and below. So if you look at it from the front, you get like a perfect cross, because then you know it's in the right place. Because if this bit was down here, you'd have a lot longer at the top and shorter at the bottom. That's how I remember it. If you've got a Mexican Grackle, they tend to sit a little bit higher up, so more up here, but you never want the noseband to come anywhere near their eye. Just sort of in this area, and then you do it up. And you've got to remember with a Grackle, when you do it up, that the straps are connected. So if you're tightening this bit of the Grackle, you're also tightening this part up here. So just be mindful of that when you're doing it up. So thanks for watching this, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you check out our saddle fitting video that we did. That's on our channel not very far back. If you enjoyed this, leave us a like and some comments of what you think we could do in the future, and make sure you go and follow us on Instagram, and you can listen to our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, just the Pony Podcast. You can find us there. Bye.